What's up, dude? Imagine if there was a cut of beef that was just as tender and delicious as a standing rib roast. And what if it had one perfect layer of soft, crispy fat all over the top, so when you cook it, it drips down into the meat and makes it even more delicious and tender, and all for less than $9.99 a pound? Oh wait, that's real, and it's exactly what I'm gonna show you how to cook today. Now let's go! Now, in order for me to reveal what this incredible cut of beef is, I think we should just sort of put Guga's head over my head, and then I'll just call out a let's do it. And now you know what it is. It's definitely picanha. And I know Guga's been trying to spread the good word about this cut, but every time I go to the butcher, I just see piles of this stuff. People really aren't buying it. And I'll tell you what, I literally bought this one at the new HEB on South Congress, and it is $9.99 a pound. That's right, $10 a pound. And that's for prime beef as well, which is a super good deal. Trust me, you guys, this is the cut you're after. And today I'm gonna show you a new technique I use for preparing picanha steak. Obviously, this is known for being cooked over a wood fire or charcoal out on the grill. However, for some reason, Texas has been absolutely freezing lately, so I've been making this in the oven, and I'll tell you what, this technique is foolproof and really, really good. For starters, a lot of time I won't even trim the picanha at all, but this one, as you can see by flipping it over, just has a lot of excess fat. It's a bit too much, so I'll go ahead and just give this a little trim. And if you want, you can save all that fat, render it down, use the beef tallow for something or other. Otherwise, I'm just gonna start trimming this fat down a little bit, much like you would with a brisket. We wanna leave like maybe 1/3 of an inch, 1/4 inch. There's just a ton of excess right here, and I'm just getting away some of that dry fat up here just to expose that nice soft fat underneath. And the next thing I really like to do is just to score it like this. So I'm just dragging my slicer across here and going in about 1/3 of an inch all the way down. And then I'll take it one step further by slicing the other way to make these nice little diamonds all the way down, because the end goal here is crispy, textured fat, which is without a doubt one of my absolute favorite things about roast beef. That little crispy fat on the edge is insane. And this technique is specifically designed for us to get more of that textured, crispy fat, and I'll explain more as we go. The next item on our agenda is to make some rosemary salt. If you know, you know. Which is just a homemade seasoning I make on this channel. It literally is kind of hard to explain just how good it is and just how much you're gonna love it and make it forever once you do. To make it, you're gonna wanna start with fresh rosemary. I hate to break it to you, but you gotta use fresh. Always works better. And we're just gonna strip off these leaves into a food processor or a blender if you don't have one of these. Simple as that. Next, we're gonna do the same thing with sage. Just pick these leaves off, drop them right in there with the rosemary. Next, some garlic and the zest of a lemon. And of course, the name of the recipe is rosemary salt. You're gonna need salt. This Morton's kosher salt, the one that says coarse on the box, is my preferred brand. The competitor kosher salt, the one in the red box, I'm forgetting the name of it, is just a little bit too fine for me. This one always ends up with a nicer texture. Then just pop a lid on and blend for 1 minute. And I always like to pulse a few times along the way, just to make sure it's evenly distributed. And that's all she wrote, my friends. There is your beautiful rosemary salt. And today we're using this for beef, but it is good on chicken, pork, lamb. It's great on root vegetables like carrots and potatoes. People put it on popcorn. It really is just covering so many bases. And with your rosemary salt, just pop a lid on it, stick it in your fridge. It will last for months, but I try to use it up within 3 to 4 weeks for that optimal flavor and freshness. And now what I like to do with my picanha here is just sort of stretch it out a little bit like this, so it opens up from all those little scores I made. And then I just take a little bit of time to really rub that rosemary salt into those cracks and crevices. We'll flip that over, of course, and just do our meat side here. It's a pretty big piece of meat, so you can definitely season this quite liberally. And of course, a little Sergeant Gilbert reporting for duty, my little sentient black pepper friend. And for those of you that don't know, he injured himself several years ago, so he's about to transfer into his new body. It's just crazy man. Go ahead and pepper up your picanha on both sides. Next, onto a sheet pan with a wire rack. If you don't have the wire rack, don't worry about it too much. And what I'm gonna do here is insert a probe thermometer into the thickest part of the beef. And I like to go in quite far and then pull back a little bit. And I'll sort of guesstimate exactly where I am in the middle. This looks good. And I've set my target temp to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 40 degrees Celsius. And my oven is set to 275 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 135 Celsius. And in the name of the great Guga, let's do it. Away she goes, bon voyage. If you want, you could actually set your oven even lower to like 250 or 225, which will give you a better edge-to-edge sort of medium rare perfection. Although at those low temperatures, it's gonna take a lot longer, so it's a trade-off. It works just fine at 275, but that's up to you. And while that steak cooks, can we all just agree one of the absolute best things you can have with any meal is some warm baked bread with butter? Or how about some herb-crusted Parmesan biscuits like the one that come from the sponsor of today's video, Wild Grain. Wild Grain is the first subscription service that delivers baked from frozen sourdough sourdough breads, artisanal pastries, and fresh pastas right to your door. And I love that they partner with small bakers and pasta makers across the country to keep the tradition of artisanal and nutritious foods alive. Wild grain orders are fully customizable, and they are constantly adding new seasonal items when you build your next box. They even offer a good selection of plant-based and gluten-free options if that is your personal cup of tea. And to be honest, it is super convenient that all of Wild Grain's products simply go straight from the freezer into an oven and are ready in under 25 minutes. So if you're having a busy day and you just need some fresh baked goods in a pinch, they are just perfect for that. My personal box had croissants, chocolate croissants, Parmesan herb biscuits, sourdough baguettes, as well as a sourdough loaf, and this fresh tonarelli pasta that I'm very much looking forward to eating. Today I cooked up some of their sweet and savory options with chocolate croissants and Parmesan crusted herb biscuits. And I'll tell you what, the quality is so many steps above that junk you're gonna buy from your local supermarket. So far, I've really enjoyed everything I've tried from Wild Grain, and that convenience factor is really one of the big selling points for me personally. You can check out Wild Grain by clicking the link down in the description under the video and using code ThatDudeCanCook to save $30 off your first box. Plus, you'll get free croissants for life. Thank you, Wild Grain, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the recipe. Here we are, just after about 1 hour, it's hit our target temperature. And as you can see right now, it's looking a little bit sad. To me, it looks like a steak died and then sort of became a ghost. It's sort of like a pale ghost type of like haunting sort of ghost steak, if you will. Because even though we pulled this at a low of 105 degrees Fahrenheit, my best guess is that this will come all the way up to 125, maybe even more. Now, in most recipes, you would bake this at a low temp and then finish it in a high heat oven. But because of the thinness of this picanha and all those beautiful scores we made in the fat, I think the best thing we could do is just let this rest and then stick it under a high heat broiler for about 3 or 4 minutes just to get that fat nice and crispy and textured. From there, we let it rest a little bit more and slice into it. After 15-20 minutes, the internal temp has come up to 121 degrees Fahrenheit. And some of you may be wondering, why not just sear this thing in a pan to finish like most reverse sear methods? And the reason I don't want to do that is because cooking it in a pan is really going to squeeze out so much fat and sort of compress it all down. I'm trying to keep the fat light and crispy and crunchy, if that makes sense. Hence why I want to use the broiler to keep that fat really delicate on top. That's my favorite bit. And here we go. I'm putting it about 6 inches or so away from my high heat broiler, and I'm just gonna let it roll. When you do this, just make sure you do not walk away. Keep a close eye on this. That fat can go from golden brown to black like that. Now, as I'm cooking this, I keep opening the broiler to check it out, and I think it's getting too dark too fast. So what I'm gonna do, this does just require a little bit of, TLC. I'm just gonna lower it down a little bit and get it back under there. And as you can see, that fat is spitting. It's getting all crackly and crunchy. It looks so good. And there we are, my friends, just about 6-7 minutes of broiling, and I've just been turning it, keeping a close eye on it. It's risen to about 126 internal right now. And what I'm gonna do is just turn off the broiler. It's already off, and I'm just gonna leave it in this warm oven to climb to about, 128, 129. I'll pull it again, let it rest one more time. This is gonna be one of the most glorious pieces of meat ever. There we go, picanha's hit 128 after being in the warm oven. I'm gonna let it sit and have one more final rest. And after a final rest out of the oven, it's come up to a beautiful 135 medium rare. Each little piece of fat is just perfectly textured and crunchy. This looks divine. I mean, look at that. Moment of truth here, guys. Let's see. Oh, wow. The way this slices like butter. Might have gotten slightly past medium rare, and as you can see, it's definitely more cooked up here from the broiler, but the bottom half is definitely medium rare and juicy. Look at that juice just running. Oh my God. I mean, can we show this, Marcus? Is this legal? Here you go, dude. Now notice that the fat. Dude, oh my God. Oh. I'm just gonna say it, man. $10 a pound, and for me, that beats prime rib. I'm gonna say it, that beats prime rib at $10 a pound. Do I need to say it louder for people in the back? That beats prime rib for $10 a pound. Do you get it? Do you get it yet? You dummy.
I haven't said anything yet. That's a paradox, by the way. Picanha has it's like the most concentrated beef flavor.
Try this right here. This layer of fat over the top with the scoring and the fact that we didn't cook it in a pan, we just let that top down heat come. Like the fat's totally rendered. It's just that crispy, like the best bits about crispy fat left over. I mean, this is the ultimate, dude.
It reminds me of like in between roast beef and steak for me. It's really really good.
There's just not a lot of cuts of beef that have this like perfect layer of fat covering it. All that fat dripping down all over it, into it, just makes it so much more tender and flavorful. That's been my new favorite cut for a long time, and I really hope that you guys will give this a try. Try this method and let us know what you think in the comments. Make it. Thanks for watching today, my friend. If you're looking for more ideas, this coq au vin and that boeuf bourguignon will seriously not let you down. They are both just truly excellent. And if you're into written recipes, check out my Master in the Making ebook. I will link that down in the description under the video. Until next time, you know I love you and I'm out.